Searching for greatness in a sea of the dying and shameless, a sea of the aimless. I don't wanna be one of the nameless. I'ma wake up with the mindset that one day I'm gonna make it, and I don't think I'll be fine if I don't break my limitations. Don't try to stop me, I exist to write my own story. I'll make a decision if I want some peace or if I want the glory. Yeah, don't want a life that is complacent or possibly boring. I just want a life that is worth every day exploring.
My whole life I just wanted someone who would notice me. My whole life I just wanted to be somebody to be. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, yeah,
Live from Rockingham, North Carolina, as we get ready to rock and roll race number 7 of this NC811 Cup Series season is live on the Captain Esports Network as we welcome you to the track formerly known as the North Carolina Motor Speedway. On iRacing, it's known as Rockingham. In a lot of us race fans' minds, it is a fan favorite of ours. As we go to Rockingham tonight for race number 7, as I mentioned, I'm the captain, Chris Scala, Kevin England joining me. Thanks to the Trivial Pursuit game that you saw right before coverage here of this race. We ran a little over in time, but either way, we're here tonight, and we're going to have a little shortened pre-race show. But qualifying underway, you see Tommy Ryan right now on the pole award run for the 811. Know what's below before you dig. Brought to you by North Carolina 811. A new combo tonight that I have not seen before, and this series has not seen before. The first time that this new next-gen Cup car is at the Rock. And I think we're going to see a lot of interesting things here this evening as qualifying continues on. Scott Simley has qualified up in the top 10 as of right now. As you see, 160 laps, 79 degrees, track temperature, 54% humidity, partly cloudy skies with 2-mile-an-hour winds. As, again, qualifying continues on for the 811 pole award. Tommy Ryan still up there on the pole as of right now. Let's actually jump down here. Josh Parker, believe it or not, is actually running a qualifying lap, which happens never. Never does. As Kevin England joins us, of course. Kevin, appreciate you joining us. I know a little bit of a abbreviated pre-race show, if you will, here tonight, but the Rock, tire wear, multi-grooves, a whole lot of stuff. This track features, you were on this track last weekend with the Grand National Series. What are we going to see tonight in this Cup car?
I have no idea.
That's about right.
Not to be cheeky, this
Right.
As you said on the outset, it's an odd combination. We're in unknown territory. That being said, I think we're going to have a total blast. Between the bumps, lack of grip, the multiple grooves, tire wear strategy, pit strategy, this track is going to have it all. I think they could run a full series every week in this racetrack and still have a blast on this racetrack. So, yeah, I think we're going to see a spectacular race tonight.
I do agree with you 100%. As we get ready for 160 laps, Josh Parker's out there just running practice laps, I think, right now.
Yeah.
So is Scott Simley. Everybody getting as much practice as they can. So it looks like Tommy Ryan will be the winner of the 811 Pole Awards. Congratulations to him. And we'll talk to him here in just a second. But let's go over a couple things for the before this race gets underway. Let's take a look at the point standings. Entering tonight's race, we got ourselves a tight little battle right here. Chad Coleman leads by 15 over Mike Kelly. Pedro Mojica is third in points. Josh Parker, Richard Beasley, your top 5. The top 20 get in. So you look down here at Montesi with 112 right now. Donaldson only 2 back. Eric Arnold, he's about 11 back. Casey Duncan,
Put on one hell of a show during the
Rivera,
winter.
and Robert Frary is
Appreciate showing up. Must not be
about
a lot of
25 points or so back.
tonight, but,
Apparently, Joey's giving the words.
Yes.
I heard him say a hell of a
yeah.
show in the wintertime, so that gives me a good news. That means they've run this before, just not in particular in this series. So, yeah, there's no previous winners when it comes to this. But warm-up is going on right now, as we appreciate the viewers coming in to join us here. And let's get Tommy up here, the 811 Pole Award winner. Tommy had a great race last night at Iowa and finished third after starting 22nd. So you wonder if he's got some momentum maybe after last night. I told him he should come back a little bit more and talk to us, and I think he's listening to us. So, Tommy, congratulations on the 811 Pole Award.
Yeah, how about that? I was way out of shape out of 2. I really thought I bombed the lap, and I just threw it into 3 and for a Hail Mary. And it's kind of stuck and got me to the line, and I was telling my teammates, I was like, man, that was terrible. And popped up on the top of the board, and I was like, well, maybe it wasn't. But if I didn't get loose out of 2, I would have pulled an 8 out of that. So I would have buried them.
Sometimes loose is fast on the edge of out of control. So obviously got some momentum. Last night, you definitely went out there and showed how fast you can be. Can we do the same thing tonight?
Yeah, I hope so. If I can keep the right rear on it. We did a practice race about a week ago, and I was struggling trying to get the right rear to hook up. So we'll see. We're going to take this 811northerntool.com thing to the front, which we're already there. We're going to try to stay there.
Thing. I like that. Is that Michael Waltrip's version of covering up the fact he drives a Camry when the Camry wasn't around in NASCAR yet? Or whatever it was, I think, years ago?
Yeah, probably so.
Nice. Well, good luck tonight, man. And obviously you got Tyler there to your outside. Mike Kelly's behind you. A bunch of 811 cars right around you. So should be pretty fun, but good luck.
Yep, appreciate it, man.
You too. And Tommy Ryan, your 811 Pole Award winners. You see the standings going across the top of the screen. And I see EJ O'Rourke up there in the 21st position. Eric Arnold, I saw him sporting a Bobby Labonte Polar Bears Talladega scheme. I don't want to warn Eric, but I guess I'll go ahead and say it out loud. That car ran at Talladega in 2001. Do you remember what happened to Bobby Labonte in that race?
I do not.
He was on his lid. Just pointing it out. That was the race Dale Jr. won. Anyways, well, one of many. All right, so tire wear, going to be a big deal. You're going to see multi-groove racing. One thing you will not see tonight is shifting. I actually put it in my head. I was like, I wonder if they could do it tonight. But Kevin, we're not going to see it.
Yeah, okay, you say so, but I think every once in a while you get yourself in trouble and you need a little dig. You kind of go down in there, but we'll see.
I can see
agree
that.
with you, though. Generally, you won't need it. Look, you're so busy, your arms and legs inside this cockpit driving the car at this racetrack, so you just got to be careful coming up off of turn 4 that you don't bang the wall and knock the toe out, do all that stuff. So yeah, shifting would make it even worse.
Yeah, do not break a toe link as Ryan and Dalton bring him to the line. 160 laps of Cup racing from the Rock. Underway, race number 7 of this 811 Cup Series. Of course, our cameras tonight presented by TrackCams22.com. They're online. They're on Facebook and the iRacing forums at TrackCams22.com. One car beelining to the inside wall. Who was that? I think they might have saved it.
You don't see anybody back there.
Tommy Ryan leads lap 1.
Yeah, everybody kind of single filed out, which is no surprise. A couple side by side for the, couple guys hanging on the outside group waiting for the bottom to open. But as soon as it does, I would expect that for this early stretch, they'll be running nose to tail, just trying to keep themselves out of trouble.
Absolutely. It's Wesley Donaldson looking to the top side here of Mojica. Montesi making a move inside Calantoni. That's for the 5th position, so move the 6 up. In that Trans Service 21 strong car. That metallic color, if you will.
Yeah, right now everybody's settled in. A couple drivers trying to make moves from the back. See Doug Roth sliding down underneath Jose Medina. That's back for the 30th position. And, now you start to get a little run, get some heat in the tires, and you get that bottom groove working for you and you get a run, you're going to just zip on past. It has to be said, though, Chris, that some of these guys are already thinking tire conservation. I'm
Yes.
positive of it.
Oh, absolutely. 160 laps in this race. You got 3 sets of tires laying in the pits. That's at least 40 laps on a set of tires each run you have to do no matter what. So, you know, if we get cautions, if we don't get cautions, you got to be very careful. As here's Dalton to the inside. He had a run going into 3 a lap ago, decided to back out of it. Let's see this time if Tommy's going to yield it to him. But Tyler right on that yellow line over the bumps of turn 3 and 4, and to the lead he goes. Picking up where he left off last night, where I'm pretty sure he was pretty disappointed, leading all the laps he did at the Iowa Speedway. And unfortunately coming up with zilch in the end.
Yeah, a lot of times that's a high motivator, as you would imagine. You're just looking to see if you can be in control. Clean air makes a huge difference at this racetrack, too. So a lot of these drivers will look to see if they can get a fender, a nose, a splitter, or whatever it is down in clean air as they try to turn into these corners and get some grip, trying to find it here. You know, this is a strange thing to say, but not only is it an anomaly to see these cars on this track, but this track got repaved this year. So this is the last run that we'll see on the old surface if they release a new one. I'm sure they'll leave the legacy out, but this is even more of a unicorn in this style of a race.
And of course, that repave, you know, obviously makes you wonder a little bit that, hey, is there a chance we see NASCAR racing at the Rockingham? And I think there is a good possibility with the renovation, with the money that's been handed to the racetrack, along with that bill that came out about a year or so ago that helped North Wilkesboro come back to life, and they're trying to get the Rock back going, and of course Charlotte's getting some stuff. So there's a lot of good things in the state of North Carolina right now when it comes to the money and possibly rebuilding. As Doy Woods looked under, or to the top side, I should say. Gonzalez was underneath him there for a position, and Doy able to hold on there in the 9th position.
Oof. Yeah, Cal and Tony in front of him got a little wiggle coming up out of 4. Doy Woods going to drive down underneath, take advantage of that. That is one of the key challenges in this race is you're trying to get to the back bumper. Should somebody make a mistake, you could duck underneath and get a position pretty quickly. We saw Doy Woods take advantage of that coming out of turn 4 in the last lap.
As you see Doy off turn 4. Oh, he's shifting. There's one.
See?
All right, see, I was told it wouldn't happen.
You are shifting at this racetrack occasionally because, again, if you don't get off the corner well and you go down, you can help yourself pull up off the corner. Every once in a while, a car develops a push in the center, and you have to ease out of the throttle. When you do, you kill your RPMs. You might just drop it down a gear and charge that thing up out of the corner.
Where Doy's doing it, though, I think he's using it for braking. Because he is hitting it really early going into the corner. Almost using an engine brake, if you will, if you're a trucker. But no, talking to drivers, they felt that, and I can understand this totally, is in iRacing, it's still kind of built to where you shift down the engine, the wheels, obviously, with the revs of the engine spin. Where the Cup car is actually, in real life, you can downshift and actually gain more mechanical grip out of the tires. And I think that's how Doy's trying to use this right now. That's why. Let's listen here for a second. You'll hear it. Upshift. And real quickly, just downshifts and brakes.
Yeah, to your point, Chris, when you downshift, it does help the car turn somewhat. If you go back and look at Macklin right now, he's got a heck of a battle right there in front of him.
Yep.
Scott Simley trying to get through. Macklin trying to figure out if the low line, the bottom line, is the place to go. As Simley gets sideways in front of him, every once in a while, it looked like he was going to sneak through the middle.
Yeah.
They're holding him up.
Calantoni had that Heine car on his tail end in the 12. There's Bentley Glazier back there, the 18 of 54, Jimmy Coleman. I mean,
yeah, this is the tightest little group, and I see them coming up off the corner, really charge in turn 2, and every once in a while they step out. Macklin was 30 degrees yaw a couple laps ago, trying to track these guys down. It feels like they're holding him up, and he's doing what he can to charge as he takes a peek underneath Calantoni.
and as you can hear, he is not shifting. So it's just a matter of how you feel. Joy Woods likes to shifting, keeping the revs up. Macklin getting loose. Another car back there getting loose off turn 2. You know what I think it is there's a bump off turn 2, and I wonder if it's getting the car out of shape. Yeah.
Yeah, plus he's hard on the throttle trying to squeeze as much speed as he can coming off there. It just breaks traction, it goes through, but eventually it hooks up, and you saw he was able to pull out, and now he's going to take advantage of that with the 18 following him through. One of the best turns in all of the racetracks we have on the service, turn 2 at this racetrack. I just love that turn. Coming up out of there.
You can easily hate it real quick too, by the way.
Yeah, you do a side slapper coming out of there, but just trying to get the angle out of the corner after going through all the bumps, it's just a total blast, this racetrack. Question I have for you, Chris, is high line in 1 or 2 or not? There's drivers that swear that it just grates the tires off, and there's others that say the radius is softer and therefore it's tire conservation. I never can figure out who's actually right with that. For me, I go in the corner, and where the car takes a pick, whether it's a low line, the bottom line, it's the middle line or the top line, I just let the car roll through. But these guys, some of them know it down to a science, and I could never get the mystery of turn 1 and 2 here.
Yeah, it's funny you say that to answer your question. I've always been a fan at the bottom on iRacing. But, with that being said, here in the last couple of builds, this track has become a multi-groove racetrack again. So I'm not totally used to and have not run this track enough to give you that answer. When it comes to since that it started happening. And that's only because, again, I'm just unsure.
You may have to go back and take a peek at that. The number 2 of Mike Kelly ducked underneath our leader on the backstretch, was leading out of turn 4, and then the car just flat got sideways. He almost went in and got the barrels on the entrance. He was right along the edge of the grass and dropped the back. Really tense moment there for Mike Kelly as he had wrestled the lead away from Tyler Dalton. Now he's going to play chase again.
Here it is on the replay. Dives it in there on the inside, as you mentioned. Slides
Looks
it
good.
up the track, back in, looking good. Oh, and then it starts kind of getting a little on him there. And
Woo!
that
It may not look like he was heading for the barrels, but all he saw was yellow, I can promise you.
that's a glove save of the beauty. And up front, Tommy Ryan going to go for the lead. And Tyler's going to give it to him into turn 1. So Tommy Ryan back to the front. You wonder if he just kind of sat back, saved those tires a little bit. There we go.
Yeah, Kelly's right back to him, too. It makes it a 3-car battle going into turn number 3. They're through that banking. The car is porpoise all the way through the bumps. So tricky coming off of turn 4 here, whether you run the top or run the bottom. Right here on the right, there's a rock sign.
Yep.
That's where you let off. Most drivers use that red mark, beginning or back, depending on who you are. And the same thing on the backstretch. You see Thunder Alley, a lot of drivers get to that red mark just before the break there where they come across the racetrack to pick their stop point. This track's so sensitive to when you lift off the gas and turn the car in.
Now, I'm going to point this out. This is going to blow your mind. Here's our first learning lesson tonight.
Shoot.
The tire wear's not that much. Like right now, we're only losing about 6 to 7 tenths of a second after 25 laps. Usually at this point of the race at the Rock, you're 6 or 7 seconds slower. Sarcasm there, about 2 seconds. But we've only lost about 6 tenths of a second so far here since the start of the race, so the tire wear is not as much as you would usually see her at the Rock.
Yeah, previous engagement didn't let me get in here and get some notes set up, but what I remember racing this racetrack is the left rear takes a beating for some reason. The car does a lot of drive off that left rear, and as such, the right rear tends to have a little more grip than usual, and you could do okay here for a number of laps, but you know, this track tends to run green, knock on wood, and I suspect that these drivers, no matter how good or bad the tire wear is, that's got to be top of mind for them.
You see the track temperature down there at 130, up just dropped to 133 as of right now in this race, so obviously the track is pretty hot, unlike last night at Iowa where that track I don't think ever got above 115 with the clouds and stuff that were in the area. We're under the old sunshine here this evening. I say this evening as in like sunshine in the iRacing part. Biggest mover, I see Josh Parker, as per usual, up 11 spots to 21st, now 20th as he passes Glenn Campbell back there. Bentley Glazier up 6 right now. Those are a couple big movers right now in this race, but I am watching Chad Coleman right here with his teammate Pedro Mojica. He is battling with Tyler Dalton. This is for the 3rd position, so you wonder if Tyler maybe trying to run up front has burned his tires up a little bit, or if his car is just getting a little tight. You see Wesley Donaldson back there in the 6th position having a great run. Hello to Susan.
You can never gauge what Tyler's doing. He's a saver. If there's a fuel strategy, you know he's probably saving a little bit of fuel. You can never really tell the complexion of the race based on how Tyler's doing, because he's always one of those guys that has a plan, and he's racing his race. That's the way I see it.
Which, that's the perfect way to race the Rock. You almost want to race the Rock like you're racing Darlington. I know that sounds weird. Uh-oh, and Eric Arnold in trouble. And he's jumped to the pits. And there's the Polar Bear car on pit road now.
Oh,
I'm just saying it. I don't know if it's bad karma or bad juju or whatever, but
yeah, and unlike the thing we saw earlier, he got loose. The car just fishtailed all the way down, and I'm positive that he broke a toe link on the back left side there as he hit the wall. So he's down off the racetrack. That's going to be one of those areas where the yellow is not going to come out if he can clear it.
oof.
And that tag slapper right there probably broke the car pretty
Yeah,
severely.
you can see the left rear is.
And he finished it off.
He hurt the Polar Bear there, unfortunately.
I take no credit for that one, Chris. None at all.
Couldn't bear watching.
That one's on you, broadcaster curse.
Yeah, what else is new? Anyways. Oh, Pedro, hold on.
Yeah, they go through that patch. You can see as the track rubbers up, and it does on this thing, when they come out of turn 2, there's a dark spot where they go through that hole with the left rear, and almost every car that comes through that in time on Ward tires, it just steps out a little bit. For Eric Arnold, not only did it step out, it went sideways. It's just one of those challenges that's unique to this racetrack. A lot of drivers start to move up in the middle lane as tire wear occurs just to go around that bump.
Calantoni with issues in that same corner. I almost wonder if the diffuser is hitting the track there. Or
Yeah,
maybe the bump stops that are hitting there. He goes around almost again.
I think he's got them tires a little angry.
Yeah, no kidding. Because, I mean, these are low-profile tires. They're not like the standard tires you see on
Right
old
here,
cars.
coming out of the corner, dark spot right there.
Yep, that bump. Yeah, you see he gets
And
dancing
he just
again.
did it again. It looks like he's fishing for apples or something there, bobbing for apples as
Is
he
he
comes
fishing
out of the
for
corner.
giants, maybe?
Giants. Available on YouTube.
So,
Yeah, you could see that spot taking rubber as the cars are sliding through there every time off turn 2, which is why I love this track.
it is a fun one.
Love that corner.
What surprises me, though, is these cars haven't really stretched out. I mean, we had the Grand National race here last week, and these cars were all the way up to the fence, and they really haven't done it 37 laps in. I mean, now we're finally hitting that 1 second threshold.
I'll tell you what, you got the 38 you were showing, and these cars right there behind him, but right in the middle of that is Wesley Donaldson running 4th in the WBD diecast Camaro,
Yeah.
having a stellar run. He's just in the tire tracks of Chad Coleman there, following him through, and that's a pretty good feat to be running in the top 5 at this juncture of the race.
Now, this one's on you if something happens, but yes, Wesley doing a great job here.
Okay, take that one.
As he's got 2 pretty good drivers around him to kind of learn
Right behind
from.
him, yeah.
I mean, Chad Coleman right here in front of him, the obviously driver with the most starts in series history, and then arguably the probably the best driver now in the series, with Pedro Mojica there behind him, and I say that from a stat standpoint. Boy, listen to the throttle now. Donaldson almost on the straightaway before he's back in the throttle. Rolling
Yeah,
it.
this is the
Rolling it.
racetrack where you just wait till the car takes a set before you get in. Make lap time if you can drive the car in the slip, meaning the car is sliding sideways and you're in the throttle. You're steering right to go left.
Yep.
coming up off the corner, that's where drivers make speed, but it takes a special someone to do it lap after lap here.
You brought up a very good point right there that I've not really thought about too much when I'm sitting here broadcasting this, but you said taking a set. This track is one of those tracks where turn 1 and 2, when it comes to taking a set, quote unquote, is different than 3 and 4. 1 and 2, you almost have to wait till mid corner before the car sets itself to turn because because you're braking so much. 3 and 4 here, you're almost right back to the throttle, because right about there, you're back to the throttle and you're rolling because it's such a wider radius and more of a sweeping corner compared to 1 and 2, which and actually there's some banking difference too. I think 1 and 2 is actually sitting at 24 degrees, where 3 and 4 is at 22 degrees, I believe it is.
Yeah, this racetrack's a little different where you charge the corners. In turn 3 and 4, you kind of let the car float in and you try
Look at
to
this
drive
mess.
the middle.
Back at 22nd, Glenn Campbell, Joe Hudson back here, Jeff Ryan. Was that O'Rourke going up there trying to, I thought he was going to Hale Mellon, turn 3 and 4 there. Jatina's back here, Jeff Ryan, Van Schaik, who had a great run last night at Iowa. You get about 8 cars maybe right here under a blanket.
Yeah, and you're not really sure. I mean, when you make a pass here, you really want to broadcast the pass, meaning
Yes.
you show your intention, you charge, you ride to the back bumper, and then when someone shows the nose, typically you're hoping the car in front of you gets the gist and pulls up, but sometimes that's not the case. And you get that stack up and everybody's looking for the pass and nobody's given one.
Well, sometimes that's actually a trick you can do. Because what you're doing is, and it's very hard in this car, because with the camera, quote unquote, that's in the car now, you're able to see pretty much your whole entire rear side. Where with the mirror, there were some blind spots, if you will.
Oof.
So what you would do is, it's a road course trick. I was waiting for that to happen. I mean, good grief, he's just flirting with the wall.
8 ball in the corner pocket. To your point, he's running the Chastain line. He just keep bouncing the car and thinks he's running Darlington here.
Well, the problem is he's not getting away from Campbell doing it, so you might want to try something else. But going back to what you're saying, though, is there's a trick you can do in road racing. For those who don't do road racing much, you can learn something here. Not that I'm any good at it, but I've learned it from watching it. Is you get your car in a spot to where they can't see you. Oh, I thought something was wrong with Wesley Donaldson. He's just blinking out. Where they can't see you. And all of a sudden, they think that you're at their inside or whatever, and they make the adjustment in their car, and all of a sudden they miss their corner or whatever because they're trying to find you. Oh, lo and behold, you're just in their blind spot, and you're able to go right in there and make the pass. It's one of the little tricks that you'll see in like a road race if you watch like the American Le Mans, or it used to be American Le Mans series, the IMSA series, or WEC or whatever. And even these cars, you can see it.
I'm curious as we watch this race between Coleman and Donaldson, whether Donaldson's saving gas, following him, not looking to make the pass. Sometimes when you just signal to the driver in front of you, I'll follow you, go. And they run nose to tail. They run pretty quick laps. They get consistent. They run lockstep. They know that they're not going to be challenged. They can run the line that they want. The other driver in front of them is picking up a little slipstream. They can run quicker nose to tail as Doug Sigmund goes to pit road. Starting to see your leader, who's stretched out from these cars, get into lap traffic as the 99 comes to the back of the 74.
Gets to the back of Wortman there, and I hate to burst your bubble here, Kevin.
Yes.
There's really not ways to hand signal in this car.
No, I know, but they can talk to each other.
That you can do. I'm just like, man, I want to know what hand signals you're using with who.
No, they're in the group where they send a chat, or even, look, nonverbal communication. There's a lot of that goes on in these cars.
I mean, there is the one where, okay, I'll go ahead and say this one out loud. You can do the old, was it ... exclamation point, ... We all know what that means. But anyways,
listen, when you're in the car and you're looking in your rearview mirror, and you see the car, but you see whether they're presenting a nose, you see whether they're making charges to your back bumper, you know everything about the spatial relationship between the two cars.
Right.
And if you've done this long enough, you know exactly what the intention of the driver is without ever having to say a word as to what they want. They're telling you.
Bob Gillenwater, we need hand signals. I agree. I totally agree with that, actually. Problem is, there's so much stuff in these cars now. The only hand signals really you can use is your hand out the window anymore. I mean, back in the heyday of NASCAR, I mean, you used to be able to do sign language in the car, like when it come to drafting or whatever. As, hey, let's look at this battle. 10th position here. This is Brian Macklin trying to get that season going. He has had all types of issues since his Daytona win. And he's got Speedy Gonzalez there behind him. Robert Frary, who's right there near the bubble in the playoff run. Yeah, there's still plenty of races to go in the season, but it's very easy to fall and not be able to climb back out of a hole. So Robert needs to get his season rolling, try to get himself locked into the playoffs very solidly. As this is 10th, 11th, and 12th, already a third distance in to this race. So now, okay, so tire wear, Kevin, we're looking at about 1.2 to about a second and a half for most of these cars right now. We are seeing some cars maybe splitting this race into threes. Casey Duncan on pit road. I would almost think you might be able to single pit this race.
Yeah, I agree. If you mind your P's and Q's, I think that is a possibility. As we see Stenzel in the 42 going, those drivers who burn their tires off in this first run, they might split it into a 3-stop race, 2-stop race, different strategy just because they want fresh tires. Duncan is out and away.
Yep, Stenzel in. You mentioned John Fowler. But you got to remember, too, these pit stops are not the same old Cup-style pit stops. These are still the old 15-second stops where, you know, nowadays you're seeing stops at like 9 seconds. By the way,
think about this as a driver. We started this race how many minutes ago, and these drivers are still humping around this racetrack. It's 25 minutes into this race. They're racing as hard now to try and keep the car underneath them, probably even more so with the tire wear that they have. They probably found a rhythm or whatever, but this racetrack will wear you out as an actual driver in the sim event.
I don't think I've ever bonked somebody on the air, but you just became the first. Anyways, as Donaldson to the inside of Mojica, or to Coleman, Mojica's there behind him, and look behind. Oh, Mojica's in the wall. He just got very loose off turn 2 and overcorrected that right side. Flapjack.
Just massive contact over there in turn number 3 as the 6 got tagged by the 42 who just got tires.
Yeah, you got to be careful with that. Montesi's on pit road now, as you mentioned.
I think Montesi had a problem on the backstretch there. He just got loose in that dip over in turn 2, broke loose, and I think Stenzel did not anticipate how slow he was going. Just drilled him when he came back up to the racetrack.
Hand signals would have changed that.
That certainly warranted a Bob Gillenwater style. No doubt about that one. There's no personal comfort there.
Well, yes. Bob Gillenwater in his hands. All fun and games till you get told you're number 1.
Tommy Ryan, great pace he's got in that number 99 car.
Well, you wonder how much Mojica's hurt this car if we watch Doy Woods now get to his inside, but starting to see a little gaggle. I see some smoke now, too. One car down on the apron. Not sure if that was the car that was out of shape, whoever that is. I see Bentley Glazier coming off pit road. But I saw smoke in 1 and 2 as we watch this fight all of a sudden. Up here to top 5, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th, all right here. And a cameo by Brian Wortman.
44 Glenn Campbell gave up the ghost, went to pit road.
Oh, here comes Stenzel and his 4 field goods.
Brian Macklin took pit road in the 30.
Gillenwater says he actually has a button that says finger out the window at you.
Yeah.
Like I said, Bob, ... or actually, you only need 5. ... exclamation point, ... answers every question. Oh, and Wesley's up against the wall now.
Joey Jacina in for pit service. Glenn Campbell was holding up that one group. Not that he's slow, but just saying. He was just fast enough to stay out in front, and nobody was fast enough to break through him, and they were lined up like nose to tail behind him, looked like a pace lap at some point. Is there 3 wide out of turn 2? Holy cow, what the heck is going on over there? Right in front of you, Tommy Ryan, Medina, Charles Wood, and Jeff Ryan. They all got 3 wide there for a moment as they've separated that out. Here comes the leader to their back bumpers.
I think that's more of, hey, we don't want to go a lap down, as Stenzel
Yeah.
just ran the fastest lap of the race, by the way, at 24:21. Here comes Tommy Ryan right up behind him. Like, he's probably yelling at Jeff, be like, Jeff, can you knock that off?
It is so tenuous as the leader because nobody wants to give it up to you
Oh!
here. Wow. That was a tight.
Tommy drifted up the track. Charles kept it shallow off Glazier at 24:19 just now. These guys are
You
good.
have to underestimate the fact that, or not underestimate the fact that running in that high line when you run the groove all the way through is tough when you're a lap car trying to keep pace and not give up all that racetrack
Look at
space.
this!
Wow.
Sorry, I just saw Bentley Glazier just send it in there. I'm like, uh-oh. Oh, what makes the rock so awesome?
EJ O'Rourke in for service. Glenn Campbell must have had a penalty. He was back in and away.
Oh, no.
Or he had damage. I don't know which.
Yeah, he's leaving
But
his
he
pit
did it
stall right
again.
now. Yeah, 55-second stop. Might have been damage.
Yeah, I think that's possibly the case. Although he did take tires that go around.
Well, in that case, if he did that,
That's his second set of
40,
tires.
yeah, that would be, you know what, that would be a penalty then, because 40 seconds with the 15, that is 55.
Yeah, but he must have forgot to turn his tires off. and
Oopsies.
changed again.
Hey, you might need those later.
That is going to frustrate him for the rest of the race.
Well,
Don't
that's...
race mad, Glenn. Don't do it.
Well, you know what he needs to do now? He just needs to run his own pace here and not push the car because, you know, obviously you've got lap 68 right here. You got a little less than 100 to go. Still going to make one more stop in his case. And just probably just run this as long as he can and then go get the tires at that point would be his best bet to do with those that last set. That's the only thing he can do to counter that.
Yeah, not sure if you could put up a blimp view, but what I'm seeing from the track shot is that there are cars on every inch of this racetrack. Looks like a conveyor belt at this point.
You shall
And,
ask. Bob Gilmore.
Every single place you look, there's side-by-side battles with these cars that have new tires. This is rife for a caution.
That easy. I was going to say Gillenwater's actually in a blimp tonight. I don't know if you
Is that who's pumping? Yeah, okay. Oh, there's a sideways number 15 right in front of the 44 of Glenn Campbell, but he collected it. There's a sideways 22 right in front of the 44 of Glenn Campbell.
And O'Rourke has...
Wow.
And O'Rourke's in trouble, it looks like. I saw him go off track. He's still off track. I'm trying to find O'Rourke. He's over there in turn 1. He's back on track, no caution.
HaasTooling.com Ford for Justin Parker going in for pit service. 4 tires in and fuel going on the number 81.
See what happens to the personal comfort 41. Oh, did I know? Oh, the hospital hop right there.
That's grass down there. That's not racetrack.
That is not comfort.
Good collect, though.
Yeah, very good save. That car, that was almost a hospital hop right there. Jimmy Coleman on pit road. So I think now we're going to get into that window where you're going to see the leaders. I mean, you got to get to lap 80, I think, at this point. Try to get to 80 on the fuel and do that, make it a one-stop race. Now, for those who aren't really competing for the win, I think you could split this in 3. 160 divided by 3 off the top of my head. I don't know how to do that. Well, math's at what, 55 or 60 is 180. 50 would be 150, so 55? Something like that.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay. I'm from Florida. There's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it.
Yes, 56 is.
Yeah,
55.
see? That's how I do my math, by
Good
the
for
way.
you,
My
then.
wife's always like, how do you do that kind of math? I'm like, I just fraction numbers is all I do. I mean, the easiest, especially for a football fan, the easiest multiplication you could do is 7. Because of touchdowns. So, you know, 7 times 7 is 49. All right, so you know, you just look at things, okay, what's half of 49? Well, let's see, 25%, you get to this number and you turn down, oh, it's, 24 and a half. A fraction. Now, if you start asking me the Pythagorean theorem and stuff like that, I'll tell you what it is, but I won't tell you how to do it.
I know I like pie. That's the best I could do for you.
All righty then.
3.14 apple is my favorite.
Was it
Pumpkin's not too bad.
3.14156.
Yeah, I like that.
Something like that. I don't know.
38 on pit road.
53. 33 to third, Bob. Naked gun.
33 yeah. RPMs.
Or the old Abbott Costello 11 or 7 times 13's 28.
Chad Coleman down and away. Tap out tuning Camaro drives through. You know, coming off of pit road here, you got to get back to the racetrack as soon as you cross that line. The surface down there on the bottom is like running through the rapids. It's ridiculously bumpy. It could upset the car and throw it back out to the racetrack.
Now, Chad, obviously, good pit stop on his end. Chad might be trying what happened last night to him. As his pit stop time, there was a 14.7. Great stop on his end. Last night, it was at lap 80. And even Pedro admitted, he's like, I really didn't plan on pitting at that lap. I just did. And Pedro was able to beat the guys out of pit road by about 2 laps in the end. He got out of the pits, and then 2 laps later, the others pitted. They could not catch him. And I think Chad might be pulling that same move right now. But here's the problem for Chad. He's got roughly 7 cars in front of him that have already pitted, as he just goes blowing by 2 people there. So Chad's got to be patient here. He's got to let these other cars come back to him, and he's got to try to work these tires and not run over the 23 car.
Yeah.
There would have
But
been
he's got to take advantage of every ounce of speed that he has right now. And the good news for him is everybody in front of him is kind of singled out, so he can choose the line he wants.
Here come the leaders. Mike Kelly right at lap 80. I was about to say Donaldson was to his outside, but Mike Kelly on pit road in the NC811.org Camaro. Who else is in? Let's see, Doy Woods, Robert Frary, Randy Yoakum.
Frary running in 11th right now in that 77. The custom carpentry Ford having a good run so far tonight.
Yeah, he definitely needs it. He had an up and down season, but sits right there underneath the bubble. 4 tires and fuel for this 811 car.
And put Scott Simley out front right now. Tell you what, Scott's been the most improved driver early in the season. He's just had some outstanding runs both here on Monday nights and other places. That number 12 is hooked up to the racetrack. Looks like he's putting in the time.
I thought Mike was going to get on track too late or too early and get a penalty there. He did a great job keeping himself down. But Tyler Dalton on pit road. Yeah, Scott has won a couple times in the GOAT series on Saturday nights. Which, by the way, if you want to be a part of that series, I know they're looking for people. Just saying, guys who are watching on the stream. But yeah, Tyler Dalton on pit road here. Simile leading Comstock up there. Gonzalez.
Haven't talked about Comstock tonight having a quiet race.
I think he'll be up there here sooner or later. Oh, wrong one. There we go. Calantoni leaving pit road. There's the 22 of... Nelson Rivera.
Oh, you got a crash on the front stretch. You got the Doy Woods car around, if I'm not mistaken. That's going to bring out a yellow.
No yellow yet. We're still green.
Unbelievable.
I'm trying to find Doy on my screen. There he is. Oh, wrong camera. Did he tell? He towed back to the pits. No caution.
He cleared out of turn 4, clear sideways, went out, nosed into the outside wall, and just drove across the racetrack into the grass. Hammered the inside wall just past start-finish line, and that is going to be the end of the night for a good run for him.
Yeah, unfortunately, into the inside wall there. I was covering pit stops. I'm like trying to switch cameras, switch cars. It's easier said than done over here.
Wow, EJ worked completely sideways out of turn 2 that time by. These guys have got their hands full.
You know what I'm wondering now is as I said, stay green. Mike Kelly, 24:02 just now. As you see, most of the leaders now have come to pit road. Joe Hudson leading. He is one of 2 cars now who have not made a pit stop. Joe did the same thing last night. Let's see. Check the weather. That track time's actually dropped.
Yeah, Rourke, he's just been pounding the corner once a lap. They're going to bring a basket to tow that car out of here. He just keeps hammering the
Sorry
thing
at the
against
flatbed,
outside
boys.
wall. Hit the pace car!
Do what?
Hit the pace car!
Now you've hit everything else out of here. So Brian Macklin is going to take this lead. This is where everything goes bonkers now because the strategy's come into play. Everybody up front right now is on the two-stop strategy that you're seeing, except for Hudson. He's just not pitted yet. I think he's going to come right here because he's backing off the pace. See if he brings that 15 to the bottom. He does not. He's just running. Oh, there he goes. Oh! He got back out ran over by Macklin.
That made me flinch. I puckered in my seat and I wasn't even driving the car. I'll tell you what, how did Mike Montesi end up second in this rotation after what we saw from him earlier?
Well, here's
down in the thing, getting plunked earlier.
I'm glad you should ask that question, Mr. Kevin, because let's pull up our pit board over here to the left, and you're going to, or on the right, you're going to see, well, you might not see this, but Brian Macklin, Montesi, Glazier, and Stenzel all pitted at lap 54 to 60 in that range. Those are the guys going to two-stopper right here. After that, you've got Josh Parker, who pitted at lap 70. He's up in 5th right now. And then it's the other guys that came in, the leaders earlier in the race. So Tommy Ryan pitted at lap 80. He is 6th. Jimmy Coleman pitted at 71. He is 7th. And then there's Chad Coleman. Then there's Mike Kelly. And then Joey Jatina at 61. So basically, you've got a mix-in now of all the cars that have pitted for the two-stopper in there with the guys on the one-stop. The problem here is the fall off, and this is where I kind of cringe a little bit, and I feel like they're going to need a caution. These guys on this two-stop strategy are going to need some help with the yellow because the fall off is not what you would normally expect at this track for you to be able to take that second stop and be able to go blowing by people on tires. I know it kind of looked like that, but that was also, 70 laps on a set of tires. But, hey, let's do this real quick. Let's step away for a quick second. We hear a word from our friends at NC811. We'll come back and get you more racing here. We're past halfway at The Rock. Caution-free so far in the Cup Series on the Captain Esports Network.
If recent storms have caused damage to your property, contact 811 before you begin your cleanup. Buried utilities around uprooted trees can make a bad situation worse if those lines are not located before digging. Electric, natural gas, and internet lines are everywhere, and knowing where they are is the safest way to start any digging project. Call North Carolina 811 by dialing 811 or by using single address ticket on nc811.org or the NC811 app.
All right, back we are here at The Rock, 93 laps complete. Brian Macklin, your leader right now, as we're in a little bit of a smorgasbord of strategery, if you will. As we're in race number 7 of the NC811 Cup Series, and want to send thoughts and prayers out to the people that have been victim of this weather the last couple of weeks as Parker goes underneath Bentley Glazier. This is the perfect time of the year for us to remind you, if you have any kind of damage when it comes to trees on top of power lines on the ground. I was watching a storm chaser a couple nights ago in, where was he at? I think he was in Iowa, or it might have been Arkansas. I can't remember. But anyways, he was driving, and they thought they had a power cord wrap around their tire. It actually ended up being barbed wire. But that's the kind of stuff that if you can't see it, you don't know it's there. Got to be careful because it could be a live wire. I actually had a wire in a road a couple days ago that somebody had knocked down. I actually maneuvered my way around it so I didn't get myself in any bad spots. But this is that reminder with all those storms. Be careful. Call before you dig. And obviously, if you see any kind of issues, call 811. And they'll take care of you and tell you the right things to handle that kind of situation. Of course, we got more storms coming, I think, in the Midwest tomorrow. But it just seems like every week now, as we get into the spring, we're going to get this kind of weather. So think before you do and call before you dig. I think I just came up with a slogan.
While we were in break, the 26 got around. The 30 of Macklin got himself out to the tail end of the lead lap. Same thing for the number 8 of Randy Yoakum. He just slid down underneath your leader. What I've been watching, where does Tommy Ryan slot out? He's had the fastest car all night. He's visibly gaining. Off of turn 2, he comes leader going into turn 3. Before, he was entering turn 3. Leader was at the line, so he's cut that distance in half. Tommy Ryan's got one of the fastest cars out here tonight.
Yeah,
This track,
last time.
just leading his style.
Oh, absolutely. Tommy Ryan last time. Let's use this lap now for an example. 0.6 faster that time by a 39 to a 99 from Macklin, and this is just simply 20 lap fresher tires from Tommy. And right now, I think without this is where I'm seeing it, and I could be wrong, and I've been wrong plenty of times, but just from my seeing of things here, the race right now is between Tommy Ryan and Mike Kelly, and there is about an 8-second difference between the two. Those two are the latest to come to pit road that are in the top 10, the farthest up in the field. If that makes sense, what I just said, as Joey Ticina comes to pit road. So with that said, I think Tommy Ryan, I think Mike Kelly, I think Chad Coleman, Pedro Mojica, Scott Simley, and Wesley Donaldson, those 6 or 7 cars are the guys right now to watch. These others are likely coming to pit road again before the end of this race because they're going to need, I don't know if they're going to have enough fuel to make it to the finish. I mean, I'm not going to use the word tires here. They're going to need the fuel to get to the end.
I was going to say, one of the drivers having a good run, currently in 6th position right now, and he's close enough to that strategy running right there with the 2 is a 54. You see him at the back end of that shot. Jimmy Coleman having a good run here tonight in the Trans-Savalas Camaro. Just got loose off of turn 2. Car stepped out. He had to collected breath. But currently running in 7th and not too far off the strategy that the top cars are running. So he's setting himself up for a good result here tonight.
Yeah, he is, and obviously it's all about strategy right now. The track temp's been going down. I'm watching Kelly is up to the 5th position here. Similarly, as you mentioned, having that great run. Stenzel pitted at 54. Going to be curious to see that one. But yeah, I mean, Wesley Donaldson, Robert Frary, David Comstock, you mentioned, slowly working his way up there. Tyler Dalton. This is one of those races where, if you're Robert, if you're Wesley Donaldson, I know I always kind of preach you want to not follow the leader, but sometimes you just need that normal race to happen to get yourself going. And I think tonight's that night for those guys. They can get themselves on track with the points and then be able to work themselves later on into the season as they continue on. But yeah, Mike Kelly right now, 5th position, 9 seconds back. And we're about to have a battle for the lead here as Ryan has caught Macklin pretty much.
Yeah, right to his back bumper, and they got clear racetrack in front of them. So I have to say that everything going his way so far. The last thing I think Ryan wants caution, but there's a couple drivers that would like to dig themselves out of a little hole from a track deficit. Mike Kelly being one of them. Right now, he's currently in 5th, and he's 10 seconds back here. I think he's got enough speed to keep pace with the 99 tonight, but he needs a little bit of a caution in order to make up that break.
As Tommy goes to the outside right now, that personal comfort Toyota, and takes the lead. So Tommy Ryan back to the front, looking to get his first win of the season in this Virginia 811. He's got NC on his car tonight. I know he's in the Virginia area there, but pretty much anywhere in America, 811 car, you can use it there. But Tommy's going to have about 5 seconds on Mike Montesi. Now, it's not to disrespect Macklin or Parker, but I think, again, those two are the ones racing for this race right now, unless Parker can save enough fuel to go 90 laps, as Montesi comes to pit road right now. So I think you're going to start seeing the guys on the 2-stopper come to pit road here, get the tires, and pretty much just see what they can get.
71 of Casey Duncan finished his service. He's down and away. Bentley Glazer getting service in there. 41 sitting on pit road. Not sure if he's fixing some damage or whatever. He seems to be there. But, you know, I kind of like the strategy for some of these guys. If they could stay on the lead lap and have fresh tires, caution comes out, they might suck themselves out. and it's pretty customary to have late race cautions in an event like this.
Yeah, it is. And the one thing that really can play a role here, and I don't think we've mentioned it tonight, this pit road is a tricky one. And we talked about this last week during the Grand National race. The backstretch pits back in the 90s used to be there. It's still there on the track, but nobody uses it now. Everything's on the front stretch. You can lose almost 2 laps. Look at Joey Jattina, for example, 26, 2 laps down. He's been on pit road. You see Casey Duncan, they're 2 laps down right now. So you've got cars as Brian Macklin comes to pit road here. Let's see. This is going to be the example right here of where Brian Macklin comes out on the track. He pits literally about a second or two off of Tommy Ryan. 40-mile-an-hour speed limit, I believe it is, here at the Rock. Pulls into his pit stall. His delta time, if I'm seeing this right, it's going to be somewhere 45 to 48 seconds on pit road. There he goes. 4 tires, fuel, 15.1. And you look right here, you see his timer up to 42 seconds, 43 seconds. So 45 seconds off pit road at a lap time at 24. So you're almost on pit road for 2 complete laps already. Brian Macklin's going to join 21st. And from what I'm seeing, he is just short of being 2 laps down. The leader's right here behind him. So he lost about 1 3/4 seconds.
Yeah, right now we only have 13 cars on the lead lap. It's such a torrid pace, and we're going to get in that situation again where we have fast cars and slow cars because of tire changes. And again, the blimp view would show the same thing. We have race cars pretty much on every inch of this racetrack all the way through, so it's not like anybody's getting a breather at this juncture.
Simley was trying to get around Mojica. They made a little contact. As we're actually watching that on the blimp view right here, as you see Simley down about the middle groove, you can see the tire wear all the way up to the wall pretty much now. So this track is spreading out a little bit, which makes this fun.
I always felt like if you showed a little tire wear, you didn't hug the bottom as much. You tend to let the car roll up through the middle. It doesn't stress the tires, especially down there in turn 1 and 2.
Ron Holyfield checking in. There you see Stenzel going by.
You just take it in. There's something to see on every inch of this racetrack. It's incredible to watch these guys. And I said, you know, when you run green like this all the way through, not that you're begging for a caution, but it wears you out. It's a lot of work, a lot of mental concentration, a lot of physical concentration to turn the car in.
This is actually, from my knowledge of talking to people, one of the more physical racetracks in general. If you race this track, because of all the G-forces you pull with the speeds around this track. And as you mentioned now, as Mike Kelly looks at the inside of Josh Parker for second, I think Parker's getting to the point where you wonder if he's going to go ahead and try to make this work. Either that or he's just going to play the caution game and let it run as far as he can go there in that Go Bowling Haas car.
Sharp looking race car.
It is nice.
Something about red and black race cars.
I love red, black, and white, my 3 favorite colors. He's doing a good job holding Kelly off, but I think Mike's also being patient at the same time. Here comes Simley like a bat out of you-know-what.
Man, did he come charging in there and almost made him flinch. He's going to drive down through the middle of both of them. Look how that car cuts on fresh tires. It makes such a difference.
Yeah, so basically Holyfield verifying there. Now, obviously viewers can't see all the chat. That's why I try to read what people were saying and stuff like that out loud, because you got people like Holyfield who's on Facebook. You've got Bob who's over on YouTube. But obviously Holyfield verifying he uses VR to iRace. Don't make me go on my spiel again about that.
This is a great racetrack in VR.
VR doesn't
Great
belong on iRacing, period.
I'm sorry. This is a great... I love driving the racetrack. looking at the gate over on the right-hand corner at a turn 3 and all that. It's just, it makes you feel like you're physically there, but this is a great racetrack to run
That's
in VR.
again, that's just my honest opinion. And when I say that, I will not beat somebody up. It's their preference and their judgment to use it. I just will vouch my opinion about why I feel like VR does not belong on iRacing, but that's just me. And my biggest thing when you look at it is go find me a pro driver right now on iRacing that uses it.
Yeah, fair enough. I just want to say to you that yaw thing that we talked about where you're steering right to go left, when you're in VR, you're physically looking out the right side windows. You come off turn 2, and the car squares up. I've talked about this to the backstretch. There's no better feeling in VR than coming off turn 2 in this racetrack. With the banking, the car is tilted. It's a really, really cool experience. Just go run some laps in VR. You don't have to race here.
Well, I gotta go
It's
buy
a
VR
blast.
first.
Yeah.
As you see, Kelly did finish off the pass on Parker. So now Josh is about 10 seconds back. Mike Kelly 9 seconds back. So Tommy's just driven away. Ruth Gardner watching over on Facebook also. But yeah, Holyfield says how it just kind of can be bruising in VR, which I can understand that with the way this track is. So
No matter how this thing finishes, Chris, you just have to look at this performance put on by Tommy Ryan. Won the pole driving away. He's coming off turn 2 to the backstretch. Second place car is crossing the line. He's almost got a half a racetrack on second. That's unheard of.
Yeah, that's like old school style right there. Tommy's just kind of putting a whooping on him. And it's funny, he said last night in the Grand National race, he's like, yeah, I want to talk to you more in the booth. Well, okay. Well, here he's working on it.
Yeah. He's Kyle Pettying this field, man. He's just putting it to him. The bad news for him is he's got a massive line of race cars right in front of him. So I just have to wonder if he wants to take a little bit of a breather looking out his windshield at a dozen cars lined up in front of him, that he just politely picks and chooses his battles here because he's got nothing to lose. He's got a half racetrack lead. It feels like things have settled down a little bit. Do you agree? I don't see the craziness going on. You have to make note that the 41 is still sitting on pit road. I think he's kind of called it a night. And something up with Charles Woods. I saw him pull in. He changed 4 tires. Fuel didn't see any contact, but he seems to have retired also, sitting down there in his pit stall.
Yeah, that's what I've noticed the same thing there. I see obviously right now we're watching the battle with Wesley Donaldson and Pedro Mojica. We got a whole bunch of trans service cars around Wesley. He's probably feeling a little uncomfortable right now. But either way, 44 clears by. There goes the 6 going by. But Wesley all the way up against that outside wall trying to get that run off the corner. There he goes.
Yeah, what a battle in a race he's had all night long. He's side by side, door to door, this far in with Pedro as they come off turn 2. That's not the place you want to be on the tires that are worn out. And now he tucks in behind, pulls the car out to get some fresh air, trying to get the drive off coming out of turn number 3. He's going to make a good run here on the thing. Will he peak low to try and make the pass? I think he's going to follow in the footsteps here in turn 1.
That's pretty much what he's doing. Almost like a diamond is what I'm seeing there. You're kind of going in high and then kind of brings the car down about half the track. But this car, you got to run different lanes here and try to get out of that dirty air. This time he goes about a third of the way up. Gets a little loose there off the corner. Pedro doing a great job being defensive here. We got this battle here, and then we got a battle back here for the... There's around the 7th, 8th, 9th positions here. We got this here, and another battle over there. The Rock's being the Rock again here.
Donaldson was able to execute that pass after running side by side for 3/4 of the lap. Was able to pull off, and that goes back to that unwritten language we talked about earlier. He got to the back bumper, followed Pedro through, got the run, signaled to him that he wanted the position when pulled down, got down underneath the lane, ran cleanly side by side, and was able to clear him off the corner. There was no doubt Pedro knew what he wanted. Now, did Pedro want to give it up? Maybe not. But at some point, you can't run side by side and make time here, so he could have just said, okay, take it.
And that's one of those things where, as people should learn, you don't have to use the bumper to put a sign out to somebody. As Dalton has cleared Coleman, and now you got the 26 of Gonzalez going to make the pass here for 9th. So you wonder if Chad's burned his tires up a little bit. But how about this 75 car? Haven't mentioned his name all night. Stoney Benfield. Unfortunately, he is running. Stoney. I don't
2 laps down.
2 laps down in the
27th
position. I couldn't find his name. Somebody mentioned Randy Yoakum in chat there. See Bobby G saying, yeah, 12th position there for Randy. So another call before you dig car. Up 22 positions, started 34th up to 12th. So great run there.
Yeah, there's a couple drivers that have had a really good night here. Donaldson being the star here running in 5th, but other drivers that went the other way, as good as Glenn Campbell was running those ventures down pit road, have really taken a wind out of his sails. He's in 31st, 6 laps down, and just waiting for this checkered flag.
Yeah, he's probably not having too much fun here tonight. But hey, let's step away one last time. We'll hear from our sponsor, 811.org, as we get you the final 20 laps or so here on the Captain Esports Network.
If recent storms have caused damage to your property, contact 811 before you begin your cleanup. Buried utilities around uprooted trees can make a bad situation worse if those lines are not located before digging. Electric, natural gas, and internet lines are everywhere, and knowing where they are is the safest way to start any digging project. Call North Carolina 811 by dialing 811 or by using single address ticket on nc811.org or the NC811 app.
And back we are here at the Rock, 22 laps to go. Tommy Ryan has been the guy to beat here tonight, and he is 22 laps away from potentially going to victory lane here tonight. But obviously still plenty of things that can happen in this race. A lot of guys we've been kind of complimenting and stuff. You mentioned earlier a quiet moving person here. Oh, Josh Parker spun over here in turn 3.
Yellow's out.
Yellow
Yes,
is out. Oh, there's a reason why I did not say 10 seconds ago we've been caution free. Josh Parker spins it. And I hope this isn't what it could be.
Yeah, the hospital wobbled down the backstretch and just got out from behind
Oh,
him.
yeah, that's a deed I know.
Thankfully, he didn't slide back out.
Nelson!
Too much.
Backs it into the wall. Caution comes out.
We talked about a questionable caution earlier this year. I think
This one's legit.
I don't think that was as legit as you get, man.
Yeah.
It's just, again, such a handful. What a job by Nelson. Absolutely no. You have to go in Nelson's in car and watch that. Do I go left? Do I go right? I don't know.
Right?
That's what I'm saying if I'm him.
We're going to watch the pit stops here, and then, yeah, we'll definitely go back and look at Nelson here. But Tommy Ryan brings the field on pit road. Jimmy Coleman going to get the lucky dog, with puts 14 on the lead lap.
He had just gotten past before that yellow came out, and like right behind the leader, hoping for a caution, and got it.
I mean, you got to think, if you're a lap down here, you're staying out, right? Take the wave.
I don't know. This track requires tires so much that I have to wonder if I would take tires and hope for another caution. You never know.
Tommy easily wins the race off pit road. Looks like Scott Simley going to be second. Mojica third. Mike Kelly falls back to fourth. Yikes, what happened there? 17-second stop for Mike Kelly.
Pit road.
Yeah. 14-2 for Mojica. 14-5 for Simley. 17-5 for Mike Kelly.
2, 3, maybe 2. 2 cars, 3 cars. Everybody else stayed out. They're going to take that wave around.
I like that call because what usually brings what?
Yeah, cautions and then, yeah. All right, now you get to sit forward, get your popcorn, get your adult beverage or whatever it is it's doing. It's game time. Now, this is going to be fun for the last bunch of laps. Everybody's going to have fresh tires in that top group, just going to run absolutely wide open all the way through. Right. This is going to be a total blast.
If we had a sponsor for the Code Brown moment of the week, here you go. Yikes!
Wow.
There's
nothing you can do but just get on the brakes and go, get out of the way, get out of the way.
The best part about it is he was actually wide open down the straightaway and finally lifted as he's like, okay, he's not going to catch this. Oh, man. Yeah, this is, I mean, 19 laps, you're going now. I just don't know if anybody's got anything for Tommy. I mean, the only person I think right now that could beat Tommy, and I hate to say it like this, is Tommy. But, you know, Mojica, obviously, he's run well. I mean, I don't know how that damage on that right side is affecting him. Simley's been great tonight. Mike Kelly's been fantastic. There's old Sleepy. David Comstock up to 5th. Randy Oakham up in the top 10 now.
They have to set their minds straight. They've been racing so hard for all that time. Now the first thing they have to do is take a breath, get good service, get in line. Now, mentally, they're processing, how do I need to race this to the end? It's a headspace game all the way through to the finish now.
Absolutely. 22 cars on the lead lap as we come to green. 17 laps to go. And gotta be careful, wheel spin here potentially as Ryan fires. Mojica there inside. That's going to get tight.
There is one sideways on the backstretch. I think it might have been Donaldson, but he gathered it up. Who was that? Oh, a black car slides sideways over there.
Might have been Coleman, too.
38 Coleman.
Yeah, I was going to say it might have been Coleman. But yes, Simley holds on to second, on the outside, which is almost impossible here in turn 2. But he did the unthinkable. And now Mike Kelly, the inside of Mojica, he gets a little loose.
Now we're going to see this for the rest of the race because you're charging so hard off turn 2. You're just at the edge of grip and the car's going to break loose.
Mike is going to go around.
Around he goes into the grass.
He got loose and unfortunately the 30 couldn't get checked up and finished him off. He saves it though.
Yellow.
Keeps digging. Yeah, he was off the track
God,
majority.
That's got to be frustrating. He had to be thinking win up until that point.
3 wide here. Randy Yoakum trying to hold off Parker, trying to hold off Dalton. But then gets to run topside to the outside of Frary. Send it in there. Robert's probably thinking some Dwight Yoakam right now if he could. Or Randy.
You know, with the tires you have and the amount of laps, you're just going to run wide open here. No tire conservation, no worry about it.
Ooh. Yeah, well,
if the yellow comes out, I suspect if you got tires, you're going to go take them. So there's no reason to save. Just hammer down and go.
Macklin fastest lap of the race right now. But I'll say this, Kevin. You can run wide open all you want to. I won't be. This car is too jukey for me to be holding the throttle down like that and trusting in the back end ain't going to just snap on you.
We were talking about fortunes just a moment ago. Look who's sitting there in second, man. Scott Simley giving a good run here. He might actually get away and take this thing.
He held off Mojica there in that restart and was able to maintain. Comstock's right there about 9/10 back. I about called him Josh Donaldson. Wesley Donaldson there in the 5th position. Not the shortstop, or what do you play, third base? I can't remember.
Every once in a while, somebody has that race that you go, didn't know that was possible, but now I got to keep an eye on it. For Wesley Donaldson to be running in the top 5 in this series, for the amount of laps he's run with these guys, I'm telling you, that's a signal across the bow. This guy He's going to go somewhere this year. If you could do that at this racetrack, which is a driver's racetrack, you're telling people you're here and you're taking notice.
Which you got to wonder again. I bring up that Saturday night series, that GOAT series. I think Wesley probably runs in that. That's, I mean, a whole nother race you're running and a whole nother set of laps in this car. So, I mean, experience is experience. You go run this track anywhere, as Gonzalez is all over his derriere. But either way, he gets a little loose there. But, I mean, laps is laps in a car, no matter what you're driving.
Yeah, and I'll say this in a different context. I've been with Sim500, Simley, Gonzalez, Tommy Ryan. Hundreds of races these guys have run together. The newcomer is Wesley Donaldson.
Yeah, right. No,
They're not familiar with him. He may not be a rookie, but for him to be in the mix with all these this series and holding his own signals something to these guys that he can race. And yeah, these leaders we talked about, tire wear and whatever. They're going to come up into this group of cars that are struggling and waiting for that caution. You got one down on the apron down there, turn 1 or turn 3. Maybe that was Doug Roth down there?
Yeah, they're coming blowing. There's Wertman, there's Sigmund, Casey Duncan. They're just coming up and going Linda Ronstadt on these guys. Blue by you. And by you. And by you. But yeah, no, I totally understood what you meant by that, and it's a great point, and actually gives me an opportunity here to go take a peek at this real quickly. And this is just on the Cup Series alone.
They're blown by these guys who need tires. Like they're standing still. Looks like a Interstate 78 going past a funeral procession as fast as these guys are going by. And it's so dangerous out of turn 2 to come underneath all these slow cars, but so far they've navigated really well.
I'm still looking for his name here. I'm looking at the career starts list here. And I've still not found Wesley Donaldson's name.
A couple drivers decided they need tires. You see Bentley Glazer down there on pit road. The 30 of Macklin went to pit road. They're just not going to run the tires.
Yeah, so unfortunately, hey, they tried. Took the Hail Mary chance. Wasn't able to pull it off, but nothing wrong with the effort. I mean, you got to try something.
There's a handful of drivers that are still looking to see if they can sneak away, get a caution back into this thing. You're looking at 17th place Joey Jattina right now. He's out in front of the leader. He may be one lap down, but he would certainly love to see a caution. The guy that really wants it is Tenna Beasley, as he's in that lucky dog spot. But with 4 to go, not a lot of hope for these guys now. It's just keep an eye on the 99 and see if anybody can track them down.
Yeah, 3 laps to go, as you mentioned. Tommy Ryan out to a half-second lead on Simley. I'm over here looking for Wesley Donaldson's numbers, and I'm looking in the Xfinity Series. Good job, Scala. Tommy coming up on the back of Joey Jattina.
Slides down underneath, makes a clean pass, heads to turn 1, right down there on that line. The battle's really for second place. You look at Pedro Mojica looking hungry right behind the back bumper of Scott Simley. Simley's been able to hold him off thus far as they go to turn number 3. Here comes Mojica again down to his left quarter panel. They got a lap car right in front of him going side by side into turn 1. This is going to get rather interesting as the 12 sneaks down underneath.
Sends it in there.
That is what you would call threading the noodle.
That's showing he wants it more right there. What a move by Simley to try to hold on to second. Can he hold off one more corner? Defensive move there, and Mojica tries to get to him. Tommy Ryan goes to victory lane here at the Rock, and a dominant win for him as Simley holds off Mojica for second. Comstock ends up 4th. Wesley Donaldson, a top 5, but Tommy Ryan took this field to school tonight at the Rock.
Wow, what a performance by Tommy Ryan. I've seen Tommy win my share of races here and there watching these things, but tonight that was a clinic for the rest of these guys. There's just something about this racetrack. This is going to be one of those wins that he'll never forget.
Now, I've watched this man win multiple Daytona races in another series that I had to announce. And oh, by the way, for Wesley Donaldson on the Cup side, 79 career starts.
There you go.
He actually does have a win, by the way.
Oh yeah, where has he won? Could you tell me?
Here. Oh, and let me back up when I say the 79. 79 altogether in this league.
There
That's
you
not
go.
just the cup side. In this league. Let me remind you here, this is where, what's his name?
Okay, the Atomic Burrito told us he's won a Winter Cup race, and he's a former Midnight Thunder champion.
There you go. Chad Coleman, by the way, has run like 1,100 or something like that now. So,
Oh, there you go. Atomic Burrito's his spotter.
I am scared to know why you are the Atomic Burrito. I'm leaving it at that. All right, Tommy goes to victory lane here tonight. Congratulations
Great
in the NC811 cars. Fantastic. One caution. Matter of fact, that means here tonight and last night, 2 cautions all weekend long in Sim500. So great job. Running joke for over a decade. All righty then.
Yep.
Fair enough. We will let
As we look through this group, David Comstock again, just knocking down the finishes, picking up where he left off last year. Another top 5 for him.
Mm-hmm.
Josh Parker, I thought a number of times during this race, he just didn't have what it takes, sliding through the infield, spinning out, doing all that. He came back for a top 10.
Yeah, he finished 8th after that spin that brought the caution out and was able to recover. Randy Yoakum, a top 10. Jimmy Coleman took the lucky dog, finishes in the 10th position. Tyler Dalton going to be probably disappointed with that 12th. Mike Kelly, 13th. As you see the field kind of roll through the top of the screen there. Calantoni, nice bounce back there, 16th after his struggles early in this race. So we
I
definitely...
wonder if Tyler had damage in some spot.
That could be possible. That could be very well possible.
You also woulda, coulda, shoulda on Mike Kelly. I have to wonder if he would have found his top 5 for sure had he not excursion grass over there.
All right, let's talk to some drivers that finished pretty well tonight. We'll get our definitely guaranteed top 3 out. Starting with Pedro Mojica, finishing in the 3rd position tonight after finishing, was it 2nd last night? I'm trying to remember. I'll sit off the top of my head here. No, Pedro won last night. That's right, as I remember. As Pedro joins us, man, 3rd place finish here. The obvious question, the contact with the wall, how much did it hurt the car?
Based off pitting, it didn't hurt the car, so I don't know. It was weird. It was weird, and I hit the wall, and the crew chief came over the radio and said, you know, it got damage on the wheel, so I thought we were in big trouble. So, but when I pitted, there was no no damage to be fixed. So, I don't know if there was a glitch or something in the game or what, or maybe there was something there. But I mean, overall, we had a good run. Wasn't too pleasant though with how we started off the race, which kind of made it hard there at the end, right? Like we got the yellow we needed to catch back up, but we lost a little bit of track position. So, kind of saw it there at the end. It just, again, with this car, when you got less than 20 or so laps, it just becomes slot car racing. It's hard to pass and do anything. So, but hey, to manage to come home 3rd after the struggle we had first half of the race, you know, I'll take it.
You had a pretty fast green car there in front of you. You guys went to a pretty good battle there at the end. That last lap, I mean, that caught me off guard, seeing Simley just send it in there between you and a lap car and hold on to it.
Yeah, I knew he was gonna do it. I just didn't want to wreck his race, so I played it more cautious than normal, probably.
Gotcha.
I just don't want to wreck him. I race Scott a lot, and I don't have any issues with him. And he was having a good run tonight, so I definitely did not want to be the cause of giving him a bad night. So, you know, he did good. He did a good job saving tires, running the top. I think I definitely need to revisit different packages with this car. We're just kind of discussing that within the team about different brake packages that you can run and whatnot, and I don't think I had the right stuff on, so that definitely didn't help with my entry to center, which that's where I struggled the most comparative to the guys around me.
And basically, just to verify to the viewers, that's him talking about like the steering ratios and brakes and stuff like that. So it seems like it's simple type of stuff when you only have like 3 or 4 options to work with, but those can make or break when it comes to that kind of thing for you in a race. So still a great job. 3rd place finish tonight can help you out points wise, and as we go to Iowa next week, after your great run there last night in victory. So send some shout outs whoever you like to.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you guys at Captain Esport. Appreciate what you guys do. Hopefully, put on a good show for you. All the admins at Sim500, I appreciate them. Appreciate Glenn Campbell and Trans Service for being on board. Continue to give them a spotlight during the race and getting interviewed. So that's good. It's good for business. So appreciate Glenn and Trans Service for jumping on board, and Max Graphics for painting the car. NC811 for sponsoring the series. Appreciate what they do for Sim500. All the guys at Team Name had a good run as a team. Wish we could have done better. But hey, sometimes that's how it goes. And yeah, and family let me come down and have fun for a little bit. I appreciate them for letting me do that, and congrats to Tommy on the win.
Great job tonight, and we will see you next Monday. We're off for Easter, so have a good Easter, and we'll see you Monday.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right, buddy. That is Pedro Mojica finishing in the 2nd position, and I want to see your hands the whole entire time, Mr. Kevin, because I know Mr. Simley's down there. He's enjoying a Heineken.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. Nah, I'm just kidding. But no, I do know. Let me pull Scott up here for you. But obviously going to talk to the number 12 car.
You got Scott Simley, the Heineken number 12, comes in 2nd tonight. Scott, you had your work cut out for you, man. You worked hard to get this 2nd place podium finish. What a run tonight. Tell us about your evening.
Yeah, it was fun. I wasn't sure I was going to turn out because I didn't get a lot of practice in, but Mike had ran the kind of the practice race last week, and so kind of helped me a little bit. And did a couple adjustments that I think obviously helped me. Pretty interesting. I never thought we were going to go have that many laps green. Actually, I thought we were going to go green to the end there once we got all those laps laid down wherever we had that caution on lap 140. But I was better on the long run. I just kept chewing the people ahead of me as time went on. So I was even gaining on Tommy. I think I was 6 seconds down on Tommy at the end of that first run, and I had gotten him down to like 2.8 or 3 or something like that. But I ended up racing Pedro for about 40 laps after we pitted, and that really hurt me. I probably lost 4 seconds, but I think he knew that higher line for me was better, and kind of diamonding the corner and getting a straighter run off, was working out for me. But I just I couldn't run the bottom, like just totally bottom feed. I don't know, I just couldn't do it. It was really kind of skittish and loose off, so found something that worked for me and got kind of stuck behind Pedro, which shot my chances at Tommy except for the end. And then it doesn't take off for me real well at the beginning, so getting only 20 laps wasn't the situation I needed to get the win, but it was still fun. Congrats to Tommy. It was a fun race though.
We watch you guys drive this track and we're in awe, right? We make so many guesses as to what you're experiencing, but it's curious to talk to you. We saw so many drivers get in trouble with the car stepping out for them over in turn 2 in that one hole coming up off the corner. You were talking about how the bottom didn't work for you. Did you get into trouble at all? People slipping up out of turn 2?
Well, that's exactly what I was struggling with. Just, I mean, this car, yeah, if you have any wheel into it coming out of the corner, the rear's gonna drift, and then when you try to correct it, it bites. So I hate that feeling. So it just felt a lot better to me to almost let it drift up a little bit and then try to chop the corner off and get kind of that straighter exit, and that helped not have that feeling coming out.
We talked about the dynamic of running green flag all the way through, and then when that caution comes out, resetting. Take us through your thought process of going in, getting your tires, coming back out, and trying to figure out how to manipulate the rest of this race, knowing you had a long run car? What was your thought about how to charge the end of the race?
As far as the very last caution, you mean that last 20 laps?
Yeah, yeah.
That
Were you
was-
running wide open as much as you could? Were you trying to
No.
do tire conservation? What was your headspace there?
See, that's where I struggled, and that's probably more so where it was kind of skittish coming off. No matter where I ran, even where I was more comfortable after getting 20, 30 laps on it, then it, you know, it was better that way. But that first 20 laps, it didn't kind of matter where I ran. It felt pretty loose coming off.
But were you in it? Were you in the throttle, knowing the car was not as in the racetrack as you were for the long run?
Yes.
You had no choice, right, to run it hard. You were trying to get the win.
Yeah, you got exactly. And then obviously we came across lap traffic there, and that was really interesting because they were too wide, and I'm trying to run down Tommy, and we're
Right.
like, where are we gonna go here? So that was a whole nother interesting thing we were running into. But I tell you, it was a lot of fun running with Pedro. I knew I was faster, but I just could not get by him, and you know he obviously knew and could take my line away for the most part. And I tried to bump and try to shake him a little bit and rattle his cage, but he's pretty tough on the wheels, so
No
eventually
doubt.
got by him, and yeah, it was a good night.
Well, Scott, outstanding run. Unfortunate for your teammate who got a little sideways there, but you were able to carry the torch tonight in a second place finish at Rockingham. Had arguably one of the toughest races we'll run all. So that's a good show for early in the run, and congratulations on the second. Anybody you want to say hello to, shout out to? The podium's yours.
Yeah, thanks, Kevin. You know, Sim500 NC811.org. You know, call before you dig. Joey. You know, all the admins that put all these races on. I mean, it's a busy between the two leagues and all the racing going on. It's a lot of fun. Turn One Heroes, Mike. You know, yeah, he had that last pit stop. I think he lightened his fuel load, and that was a mistake. You know, I don't. You know, you try things to see what happens. It might. You know, you never know what it's going to do if you didn't try it in practice. So, I think that was the wrong thing to do there, is what it sounded like. But you know, you guys for broadcasting, it's fun to watch and go back and watch your guys' replay, and you know, Chris and you guys just do a great job putting everything together, so you guys can go back and watch it, and hopefully everybody else watches enjoys it out there.
Yeah, thanks for that. You need to go watch that last lap. I think you underestimate how tight you were going into turn one. You made us all sit forward. It's a great charge to cover that second place finish, and you're going to enjoy seeing that back again. So thanks, Scott, for talking with us, and we'll turn it over to Chris, who's caught up with our first place finisher and winner, Tommy Ryan, who dominated tonight's race.
Yeah, the only thing Scott did not say was "hold my beer," literally to us.
Yes.
But
I tell you, it's intense. This track and the whole thing, it's white knuckled the whole way. That's why I say it was fun too, but it's intense. It was a whole night. So, but yeah, a lot of fun. Thanks, guys.
How are you too, buddy? Scott Simley finishes second here tonight. I mean, he literally had a beer sponsor, so he could have said, "Hold my beer, watch this," and sends it in the turn one. But meanwhile, the guy that said he wanted to talk to me a little bit more and goes out there and whoops the field's tail tonight, Tommy Ryan, man, what a run for you. Obviously leading the most laps here this evening. When did, was it during practice? Was it beginning of the race? When did you figure out, okay, I've got something here tonight?
You know, I really didn't. I didn't think I was going to be that dominant. Only because how I ran here, like I was saying a week ago. And for whatever reason, I don't know if it was the track temperature was different, whatever. I just kind of let the car come to me, and then I just got in a rhythm and walked away. And when the caution came out, I had like a, I don't know, 8 or 9 second lead. So I was telling my teammates, I said, whatever y'all do, please don't wreck, because I got this thing covered easily if we can just go green here. But obviously it didn't. But still was able to pull it out. So hell yeah, that's probably the best run I've had in a very long time, to have that kind of lead over this caliber of drivers.
Yeah, it was fantastic to watch, and obviously I know you got to be pretty happy because, you know, obviously we're at season number 2 now for Captain Esports Network covering the Grand National Series, and we're about to the 1 year mark on the Cup side of things, and it's the first time we've been able to talk in victory lane. So, obviously I'm not sure with the other series and what you've done here, but to wait this long, it's got to feel pretty good to be back.
Yeah, it's hard to win here. I mean, the last win I had in Cup was I want to say 2 seasons ago.
Wow.
At Iowa, and I don't think it was last year, but I mean it's hard. I mean, Daniel Faulkingham isn't here anymore, so but it's even with him gone. I mean, Pedro, there's about I don't know 10 other names in here that are really dominant and are really hard to beat. So you just kind of get some track position and figure out how hard you can push this car before you tear it up. But it's not easy to drive. You just never knew what you were going to get out of 2, and you're just kind of pinned on pins and needles every time you exit the corner. Like I said, especially out of 2, sometimes out of 4, but 2 was really bad at times.
And that was the one thing that Kevin and I talked a little bit about. What were you feeling there, if I could ask? Because was it one of those where was it just everything settling on the left rear and maybe that bump kind of upsetting the car? Was it the diffuser maybe bottoming out? What were you feeling in the car, if anything?
Well, if I tried to come off too low, like if I just tried to paint the line through 1 and 2, it was fine on entry and in the middle, but it does something really strange on the very exit. If you got the left front on the yellow line, it would just grab the left front and just sling the rear around. So I kept rolling, landing on the very bottom, and then kind of letting it push up about a car width off the bottom, and then just start pedaling it and try to come off about mid corner. And that seemed to be the best balance, where I wasn't really putting too much pressure on the right rears or really upsetting the weight distribution in the car.
Well, it definitely worked out for you, man. It was definitely your comfort spot, and you saw it last night in Iowa in the Grand National car, and now tonight here at the Rock, you've definitely seemed to be slowly getting that momentum back, and now look at where we go next Monday night, Iowa Speedway for this car. So I think we could be looking at maybe a Tommy Ryan back-to-back win. That'd be pretty cool to see. But send some shout-outs whoever you like to, bud.
Yeah, obviously, again, my sponsor 811 and northerntool.com. So you guys, before you go out there and dig in the yard, go to Northern and get you a shovel, then call the phone number.
Way to plug them together. I like that.
Oh,
Yeah, man.
that was stellar.
That was well done, right? Well, great job, man. Tommy, happy for you, proud of you, and I think this is actually the first win outside of Daytona I've ever had a chance to talk to you for, too, by the way.
Yeah,
So-
it's always a blast, man, to come in here and talk to you. So thanks for everything that you do, and you're making us famous, man. Keep it up.
I think it's more the opposite, but no, I appreciate your time, man. Good job.
Thanks.
You too, buddy. Tommy Ryan, winner tonight here at the Rock. Congratulations to him. And yeah, we go to Iowa next Monday night. He says his last win, he believes, was that race. So we know how that usually goes. Maybe he'll go back-to-back next week. So congratulations to him. Scott Simley finishing second. Pedro Mujica finishing in the 3rd position. But man, what a weekend for these guys. Only 2 cautions in the race, or in 2 races. And that's got to be something really cool. And you know something else that's really cool? I like what Bob's thinking here. I'm bringing him up here. Let's bring up the man that had a pretty good run tonight in the Cup Series, I would say. Wesley Donaldson joins us here in the 91 car. Man, did you expect what you saw tonight out of that car?
I wasn't quite sure. I tend to run better at short tracks and road courses, which unfortunately doesn't help me here. But I knew I'd be decent. I was a little frustrated that I'd wrecked myself out early at Phoenix because I felt like I'd have a good showing there, but I really wanted to have a good run. I ran the race last week for the practice race and felt like I burned my stuff up kind of quickly, so I was not quite confident, but once I got going, I feel like I kind of got in a groove and ran a little bit better than expected, I think.
Well, what was there something just you were feeling tonight out of the car that made you feel well? Because what I thought about it, and correct me if I'm wrong here, there was a lot of time you were right behind Chad Coleman, and you were right in front of Pedro. I almost feel like you were kind of going to school right there.
Yeah, it's been great actually, because between this series and then a couple of the other series, I feel like I've been running around them a lot more, and it's definitely teaching me a lot. But yeah, I'd get behind him, run behind him for a bit, and then I'd be like, wait a minute, I feel like I'm a little bit faster here. Struggle to
Maybe I should
get by,
pass
but
him.
then yeah, get around him finally. But yeah, I've learned a lot. I feel like the last month or so.
Yeah, I was just looking at your all-time stats in the series. Yeah, I see you got a win, obviously, in one of the Sim500 series, and apparently it was at Chicago in another car. But according to your Atomic Burrito sponsor, we'll have to figure that one out later. I got to hear that story sometime down the road. But nonetheless, man, you've only run 100 starts in this series. So, Kevin brought up the fact of, and this is no disrespect intended, but, you haven't had your time up front a lot. So in that kind of situation, you can understand where a Pedro, a Chad, those guys who have run up front a ton and been around a while, might not be so used to racing against you up there. So tonight had to be kind of gratifying to say, hey, you know what? I'm up here with you guys now and having a fantastic race.
Yeah, it definitely felt really good, and like you said, you never quite know what to expect when you're around guys that you're not around too often. But I mean, I felt like I was showing a lot of respect, and I tried to show a lot of respect too. Um, it was a lot of fun, that's for sure.
That's awesome, man. So we expect the same thing in Iowa next week because now we're on a short track, kind of rough surface, kind of similar here.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to actually a lot of races coming up between there and Bristol and Martinsville and even Dover. I feel like I can do pretty well, so I really want to take advantage and try to work my way back in the points a little bit.
So basically, to translate what he just said, he wished that Iowa was coming up in an hour.
Yeah, I told Jason that I wish there was a series that I could just run short tracks and road courses, and I feel like I'd be really good.
That's funny. Well, great job tonight. Send some shout-outs. Where we like to, man.
Yeah, just want to say thanks to, well, for one, everybody at Sim500, Joey, fantastic racing here, NC811 for support of the series, you guys for broadcasting this, putting on some great shows, and then my buddy Jason, Atomic Burrito there, he has been spotting me and crew chiefing me every week. Shout out to I make custom diecast, so that's what's on the car, the WBD diecast thing, so I have to kind of give myself a little plug there.
Nothing wrong with
that. But yeah, I think that's about it.
Well, great job, and congratulations, man. Go enjoy your finish tonight, and we'll see you next Monday in Iowa.
Thanks, guys.
All right, buddy. That is Wesley Donaldson, 5th place finish tonight, and is definitely going to go enjoy that. And let me take a second here. Kevin, real quickly, why don't you share your final thoughts here? I want to go find just his cup stats real quickly while you talk here for a second. But give me your thoughts on what you saw tonight.
Yeah, tonight's one of the most challenging racetracks we're going to run all year long. Between the bumps and the texture of the racetrack, the character of the racetrack, these guys did an amazing job. To run almost caution-free at this racetrack is unthought of. We saw a lot of interesting runs, and just talking to Wesley Donaldson, one of the thoughts that came through while he was talking is this is a driver's racetrack, and to see a driver like that exceed shows me that he's somebody that's going to be around here and make this for a long time. And like I said, maybe it's too premature, but announced his coming out here tonight that he's going to be someone to contend with as this season comes on. And every once in a while someone emerges. Someone like a Pedro, for example, looks over and I ran that guy for X number of laps, and yeah, I know he's a contender, and now we're going to have to deal with him. That makes a different change in the dynamic of what goes on in the season. It's not to be any disrespect again to Wesley and being new here. He certainly knows what he's doing, but it just goes to show how hard it is to race with these guys. As many races as they have, as good as they are, as fast as they are, to go in there and run toe-to-toe with them, that's saying a little something, and it shows that that's a guy we're going to have to keep an eye on as the season progresses. In the end, I saw the great run by the number 12 car, the Heineken car. What can you say about Scott Simley? He's kind of a guy that runs under the radar. Tonight, he had a good run at a driver's racetrack. And I always look for these little crumbs of signs that say, later this year when they run really well, wonder where they came from. It's nights like tonight where they signaled their intention that they're going to be a part of this game and don't rule them out. I look at someone like Josh Barry, for example, in his second place finish this week. That's one of those kind of races that we saw here tonight out of and out of Scott Simley. They're the kind of guys that show up and say, I'm here to play. Don't rule me out.
And that's exactly it. You never know. And yeah, Josh had a great race yesterday in the Hendrick car, and you see you mentioned Scott having a great run tonight, Wesley having a great run tonight. So that's why you run the race. You never know what can happen. So next week at Iowa, we could see the same thing. But I will say one thing. This was Wesley.
Iowa's a lot like this racetrack, by the way. A lot like this racetrack in the way that it drives.
Does have some traits, tire wear. Obviously, it does have progressive banking, a little less banking, but it is a driver's track when it's all over with. But Wesley Donaldson, 6 career start tonight in the Cup side of things, and gets himself a top 5 finish, which officially has him passing Kevin England in top 5s on the Cup side.
Yeah.
Sorry, Kev.
No top 5s.
In fairness, he's got more than me, too.
No top 5. I don't think I have a top 10.
No, I wasn't going to go there.
2003, if you go back to those days, you might have seen some special out of me. But when it comes to iRacing, I'm so out to lunch. I'm just happy to be here. Part of it.
That's all that matters. I'm happy to
I
have you.
finished ninth last night, though.
There you go. Where was this?
That's where I was. I didn't run the thing because I was running NIF. Finished ninth of you.
There you go.
So that's okay.
Congratulations.
In Division 2 or 3, I'm not sure where.
That's above me, I think. So, well, great job, man. Congratulations on that. And hey, I appreciate your time as always. And I'm glad you're feeling better and stuff. And
yes, sir.
Pardon me. Let's go back next Monday.
Yeah, looking forward to Iowa. It's going to be as good as this race, if not better. That place is a great racetrack to run, and you're in closer quarters, so I expect to see everybody else.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun to see how this next-gen car handles that track. So let's take off. Enjoy the rest of your Monday nights. Happy Easter, and remember, this isn't just a game. It's iRacing. See ya!
Searching for greatness in a sea of the dying and shameless. A sea of the aimless. I don't wanna be one of the nameless. I'ma wake up with the mindset that one day I'm gonna make it. And I don't think I'll be fine if I don't break my limitations. Don't try to stop me, I exist to write my own story. I'll make a decision if I want some peace or if I want the glory. Yeah, don't want a life that is complacent or possibly boring. I just want a life that is worth every day exploring.
My whole life I just wanted someone who would notice me. My whole life I just wanted to be somebody to be. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, yeah,
This is a statement to appreciate all that is vacant. It's yours for the taking. If you make up your mind, you can take it. I'm never complacent. I would work in a mansion or basement. Yeah, there's no replacement for persistence. It's a patience. Yeah, in this life, I wanna be soaring to feel sun inside when it's pouring, and I'll fight till anxiety is boring. I'm so sick of my mind's extortion.
My whole life I just wanted someone who would notice me. My whole life I just wanted to be somebody to be. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, 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 I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great.